Ephemeralization means the process of reducing weight from a system. It means to be dissatisfied with the system's output, even if your goals are met, and to keep creatively re-examining a system in order to remove components until it gets lighter and lighter and lighter and essentially disappears. It is an engineering outlook that goes beyond profit calculations and instead seeks perfection. Buckminster Fuller was an inventor, architect, and systems engineer concerned with human life. He's known for the geodesic dome and creating habitats for human living with as little waste as possible, in which the end point of any system becomes the beginning of another. One of his ideas that crossed into popular culture was synergy, the idea that components of a system working together can create a combined output that exceeds what they produce individually. This term was kind of co-opted by big business, and it talks about social dynamics, but the way that Buckminster Fuller originally conceived of the term, it applies to real physical systems. To ephemeralize a given system, according to Fuller, we must think of the totality of energy that goes into that system, not just our own effort and not the profits that result. For instance, although we can reach not only equilibrium but profit from extracting oil from the ground and selling it, the system is not ephemeral because we haven't considered all of the effort that went into it, including the calories consumed by the dinosaurs when they were alive, and the geological pressure over millions of years required to transform organic matter into crude oil. We consider only the final cost of our process of extraction, refinement, and sale, and we look at if we can make a profit after that cost. Blockchain technology has undergone a process of ephemeralization. The proof of work model demanded the expenditure of resources to validate the chain. Bitcoin was burning energy to create less, and after 10 years, the environmental impact of the Bitcoin network has been significant. The EOS system is radically ephemeralized. Delegated proof of stake means that the resources the system generates are reinserted into the system to power it. This is not only the apex achievement of blockchain technology, but it serves as a systems model as well. Energy needed to mine blocks on the Bitcoin system is wasted as heat and ultimately as pollution, while the same energy on the EOS system is added back into the system in the DPoS model. When we're thinking about automobiles, we're likely to consider the system of every individual car, its engine, its transmission, its axles, its wheels, etc., and its efficiency and power. But we don't often consider a car as an individual unit within a larger system. When thought of this way, we see a global fossil fuel system that has some things in common with the proof of work blockchain. Separate components on the system work fine, but at great expense of energy and with an incredible output of wasted resources, mainly carbon. The value is obvious and the waste is ignored, but carbon can be a valuable resource, and if there was an economic incentive to recapture carbon at the point of exhaust, that technology would move pretty quickly. Electrical systems for transportation predate fossil fuel combustion technology. The system has less overall output and is therefore lighter and more ephemeralized. In a Tesla, both the front space under the hood and the rear space are used for cargo. It has two trunks. So where is the engine? There are two engines placed directly on top of the front and rear axles. By eliminating the drivetrain, they can supply power more efficiently, and the open space in the front trunk makes the car safer as it serves as a forward crumple zone. The car system is ephemeralized. It is much lighter and requires fewer and smaller components. But what about the larger system, the power supply, the grid, the recharging stations? Can the entire system be made even lighter when viewed as a whole? The concept of ephemeralization will become the defining problem of the next 20 years. It will be the current generation's World War II. The Paris Climate Agreement attempts to view carbon emissions as a global system and seeks to lighten or ephemeralize that system. In order to reach its goal, carbon emissions must be reduced to net zero within the next few years. In order to even think about this problem, we have to perceive a system, not the individual components of separate nations, individual gas and oil companies, car manufacturers, and consumers and drivers. In order to see this as a global system, we'll need a worldwide network of secure information exchange as a mere starting point. This might be something like the EOS blockchain, with a global carbon emission token exchange, allowing us to track and reduce emissions all around the world and coordinate our efforts. The Blockchain for Climate Foundation has already started the process of tokenizing carbon emissions. They are working towards a global carbon ledger. Blockchain will also be a key element in tracking funds. How can we be sure funds are used for their intended purpose and not diverted, skimmed, or malappropriated? Blockchain technology can ensure that all of the requisition funding in the Paris Climate Accord goes to the right place and is used for the right purpose. It's the only technology capable of creating a global carbon tracking system. Everything begins with information. It's our duty to continue inventing and creating without understanding the final form of the application. Years from now, people will look back at the EOS network and understand it as a prototype for ephemeralization. It'll become a model for building systems that look to reduce effort while increasing output. In the words of Buckminster Fuller, I just invent, then wait until someone comes around to needing what I've invented.